Well, if an inquest has been halted, essentially, for criminal proceedings to take place, and then those criminal proceedings end, then it can be the normal practice, yes, for such an inquest to be resumed. Now, of course, the huge length of time that we saw here in the UK surrounding the extradition process, and then of course the case in South Africa itself, that has been a gap of some years in this inquest, but doesn't necessarily mean that it can't be reopened. And so I have spoken to the North London Coroner's Office. They have confirmed to me that the coroner is speaking to all parties. You would assume that that would mean not only the Hindocha family, but Shrien Dewani's legal team as well, about setting up a new date. Now, that new date for a hearing, which is what the coroner wants to have, wouldn't necessarily be a full inquest hearing. It could, the coroner's office tell me, be a pre-inquest hearing at which legal representatives from both sides would be invited to give their legal representations, and that would be an inquest date, essentially, which would look at reopening the full inquest. So, you know, still a complicated process, a complicated procedure, but the coroner here in London is looking into it and wants to have a new date in this process, a new hearing, as soon as it can be arranged.
We know that in his South African trial, his lawyer here would have avoided putting him on the stand at all costs, given his strained psychological state, the post-traumatic stress disorder and depression he was said to be suffering from at the time. Is he in any position to be testifying before an inquiry?
Well, we're not at the stage yet where he would be testifying anyway. If it were to be a pre-inquest hearing, then I think we can safely assume that if anyone turned up to that from his side, it would be his legal representatives who would be speaking in court. Were we to get to the stage of a full inquest, certainly that inquest would want to hear from Shrien Dewani. I think it would be quite likely, again, that, as you say, the legal team here in the UK may make similar arguments about whether he is in a position to give evidence. Were he to give evidence at a full inquest, if we get to that stage, and as I say, we're not there yet, then of course he would be speaking under oath. It's worth saying, though, that even if we do get to an inquest here in the UK, that is not going to sort of assign guilt or convict Shrien Dewani of any crime. It can lead to decisions about what exactly took place to cause Anni Hindocha's death, and any conclusions that it can come to around how that happened and perhaps how it was orchestrated. But of course this inquest lead to a conviction of Shrien Dewani or anyone else. And of course the Hindocha family have said all along that what they simply want is justice, and they don't feel that they have had that yet, given the falling apart of the case in South Africa.